So we've just concluded with VMix, and now we're going to go to our very next thing that we see here. We have our PTZ Optics PTZ controller. It's a super controller. It basically controls the cameras on the network. You don't really have to understand what that means. Just understand that this thing controls the cameras, right? And so when you first come to this, it may be off. Make sure, just in case, it's usually not going to be off, but if it is off, there's a little power switch down here. You go ahead and switch that on. It takes a really long time to turn on, so I'd suggest you don't switch it off like I just did, because now we have to wait here for it to come back on. As you can see, it's America. I mean, not America, the world. But once you turn this on, you're also going to want to come here and make sure these two switches are on. Once those two switches are on, that is the power for the PTZ cameras and also the transmitters. And so you'll start to see more cameras coming on the screens above. Your two PTZ cameras will come on. This is where they are located, just in case you didn't know. Once you come back here, you have your cameras. You have possible control of 6 different cameras. Right now we're only using 2, camera 1 and camera 2. Camera 1 is connected to camera 4, and camera 2 is connected to camera 5, right? So right now, we are going to select camera 1. So basically you press this button. Once camera 1 is selected, the IP address will change to 220. And you can now shift camera 1. As you can see, in order to pan, you will tilt this little joystick to the right. And as you can see, it is panning. Camera 4 is panning, or camera 1 on the PTZ controller. You can also pan the other way, and it will begin to pan. Tilt up and down. Right now it's reversed, so up is down and down is up. That's just something you're gonna have to keep in mind for now until we can find out how to reverse that. Then this knob also revolves like a wheel, a steering wheel. So you can go ahead and twist it this way, and that is for zooming in. Twisting it right is for zooming in. Twisting it left is for zooming out. And that is for camera 1. If you wanted to do the same thing on camera 2, you would just select camera 2. The IP address will change to 62. And if I were to start zooming in, it would begin to zoom in. If I were to start zooming out, it would begin to zoom out. Now, one thing you might notice on here is you might at times think that you are zooming in, but you're not zooming in. You're actually coming out of focus right here. That's how that just got so blurry. When that happens, that means that you are on focus lock. You have locked this steering wheel motion to focus. So that means all you are doing is changing the focus. As you can see, I'm turning it left and it's coming right back into focus, and it'll go right back out of focus now. So when you do this, you have to make sure that you are not on focus lock if you want to zoom, but you are on focus unlock. So if I click focus unlock, it will then begin to zoom correctly and not come out of focus, but zoom. You can then zoom in, and you will have no issues. You can also hit autofocus if you can't get it to focus properly. There's an autofocus right here at the bottom, and it will autofocus for you. These are the basics for controlling the cameras. Going into more depth use more in-depth use of the camera, you have this number pad right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And in all 9 of these buttons, including 0 actually, you have presets. If you select any one of these presets, it will go to a particular position that you saved. That's what these presets do. Basically, if I were to choose this position, all 3, zoom, the x-axis and the y-axis, basically, up and down. If I wanted this position, I could save this position in 1 on the number pad. Now to save a position, to save a preset, you come over here, you press set, then you choose the number on which you want to set it. As you can see, it says set preset. You choose the number. I'm going to choose number 1. Then I'm going to press enter. Once I have pressed enter, this position right here has been saved. Now don't get position confused with motion. It does not save motion, it saves position. So now as I'm changing the position, I'm gonna change the position to right here. I'm going to hit set again. And so set preset comes up. I'm gonna press 2. I'm gonna press enter. I now have a second position saved. So now I can shoot. I'm gonna hit press number 1. I'm gonna shoot straight back to that first position that I saved. It's gonna go pretty slow because I have the setting set on slow motion. Then if I hit 2, it's gonna shoot straight back to that same position that I just saved. So it saves positions, not motion. You can't do a swirl and expect it to be on number 1. It won't be on number 1. Only a position will be on number 1, not a motion, okay? Same thing will be with camera 4. You then sometimes may run into an issue where your image is too dark. There are 2 ways to fix this problem. One of the ways that we found most useful at the moment is to use auto exposure. Auto exposure will fix a dark area. Right now, the area wasn't dark enough, so nothing really changed. But should the area be too dark, you can hit auto exposure and it will change. Autofocus is another one, as I've just shown you. Then the second way to change the brightness is basically by using iris. If I hit iris minus, you'll see it'll change immediately. Then I can hit iris plus and it'll get brighter. Now, when you're in manual mode, it seems this is the brightest it gets. So we usually go with auto exposure and it will revert back to that better, brighter picture. It'll also be trying to focus because if a subject is not well lit, it will not easily focus. That's something to know about cameras. And that is about it for the PTZ cameras and the controller.